everyone. Welcome to the Ivity podcast. Today I have Patrick Vaillancourt from Luxury Builders. Patrick hails from Montreal and is now in South Florida. Um, Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you for having me.
Patrick, one of the things I thought was really interesting about your story is your move from Canada to South Florida. And if I understood you correctly, that move was driven by what you saw as a gap in the market. Is that accurate?
Correct. So, I had a client that had a remodel down here from Montreal, and I flew down and kind of wanted to consult them and help them out any way I could. And when I saw the way that people were working here and the lack of organization, I remember calling my wife that night. I said, "Pack the house, we're moving."
That and what is it specifically that you saw as the gap in the organization?
Um, I saw that there was no control on the job site, no oversight. Um, just the quality itself was just subpar. I mean, it wasn't, once I evaluated everything, I saw there was a solid need down in South Florida for quality craftsmanship, quality contractors.
Okay. So I know in the discussion that I had with you view technology as one of your primary differentiators. But it sounds like it was more than that that you noticed.
Yes, I mean, technology has evolved a lot, especially since when I first started in the construction industry, nearly 20 years ago. We didn't have the technology we have now. Um, the way that I saw people that were working down here was they weren't using technology. There was nobody on the job sites. It was just a complete mess. So I saw there was a need for it. So I took my wife and daughter. We moved down here, started Luxury Builders Group, and we're here to fill that void.
So was the specifically the tech void component, did that also exist in Canada, or was that more standard there?
So there was tech, I would say, is a little bit more behind in Canada as it is down here.
Hmm.
We had programs like Procore up there. However, down here in South Florida, I noticed there's more options, more availability, um, you know, which would which is a great option. When I came down here, I started exploring all the different softwares, able to compare apples with apples,
Okay.
and we ended up settling with House Pro. It's got certain benefits that others don't. We're able to get a great design visualization, and it's also a great lead management tool for us. Not every platform is a perfect fit for every business, but this one had the most pros versus cons for us. Sometimes, we got little simple tools that go a long way. For example, like in House Pro, we have a shared project board or just daily logs, daily photos work much better than having an overcomplicated software.
Yeah. Is it so it's the photos, a daily log, which I think is brilliant as a consumer of this type of thing. I know that's something that I would appreciate. Is design and lead management, are those the main two things that you get out of that system along with the logs?
Yes, so the daily log was one of the great pluses because when we first moved down here, we were really catered around the snowbirds.
Hmm.
So as you know, a lot of the snowbirds are not down here. So that's able to give them access into it, and it's very user friendly for them to be able to log into this portal. They get their daily log every day. It avoids them, it keeps them informed every step of the way. They get pictures, kind of simplifies my life in a way on that. But that was one of the main leaning factor for us. Then upon getting this software, we found out all the other tools that they had to offer, which kind of gave us another leg up. We do quick 3D renderings. Um, they have the floor plan tool where I can come in and scan a whole house. I get all my dimensions off of that.
Hmm.
So, and we appreciate the user friendliness of it compared to other softwares.
Well, I was going to ask, I was thinking about as you were talking, the snowbirds, which would indicate these people are generally, a little bit older.
Mhm.
They've had no problem. Has the utilization been high with that population of folks?
Um, I would say the older, not not all of them use it.
Hmm.
Um, but as you get the younger ones that are more tech savvy, it's very simple. It's just a link that they would click on and they'll get access to it.
Okay,
So we've gotten, I would say it's about 80-20. 80% truly appreciate it, and 20% are not as tech savvy, have a little more difficulties with it.
gotcha. And what tools, if any, did you replace when you put that system in?
What tools? Well, for one, first and foremost, a lead management tool.
Okay.
Um, we got our leads directly entered inside the software,
Hmm.
and then we even use it to do our estimates out of.
Okay.
So I used to use one software for estimating, um, and then even to do the takeoff tool, we had a separate one, and this kind of integrates everything into one.
Okay. And what are you finding in terms of, your client base? Are the expectations any different between South Florida and Canada, both in terms of client expectation and regulation? Are either of those much different?
Well, I mean, obviously the expectations are always high. So we try and hold the highest standards to that.
Hmm.
Um, for me personally, myself, I grew up in Montreal, but I wanted to be in a market where luxury construction and design were constantly evolving. South Florida offered that. I mean, obviously, it meant starting fresh, starting new. So you got the obvious challenges: no network, no reputation,
Right. Yeah.
just a little bit of drive to build something.
Yeah. That's tough.
It is, but it's part of it, right? The biggest challenge I'd say for me was building credibility. As you know, a lot of contractors have a bad reputation,
Mhm.
and especially in the luxury construction market, they don't want just skill, they want people they can trust. So I had to prove myself with smaller projects at first, showing the same level of detail, whether it's a small project or a big project.
Yeah. And how many years are you in Florida now? Remind me.
I originally we started operating in 2022, so we're going on 3 years now.
Okay. So probably just starting to settle in.
Correct.
Gotcha. Well, what next? So you implemented the technology, and that sounds like took out some pain points, did some tool consolidation. Um, I'm sure that's helped with your communication with clients, being able to see. I have to imagine you receive less calls asking what's happening.
Obviously, it it helps a lot. It avoids a lot of clients calling me every night, ask me what happened today.
Yeah.
When they do, I often refer them, go check out the daily log. You'll know exactly what trade was there, how many workers, what was done. They have the pictures. It helps them stay in the loop throughout the whole process. Um,
What's next for you? What problem are you going
so,
after now?
well, another problem we had, big issue was since we were starting from zero, was to build our team of subcontractors,
Okay.
professionals around us. Um, I was kind of expecting it in the beginning, but not as bad as I thought it would be.
Harder to find or harder to build relationships with, or harder to find someone you trust?
It was difficult to find that trust, and that quality that meets our standards. So we turned around, we're able to recognize the problem early on, and we put in a vetting process for our subcontractors.
Okay, tell me about that.
So the vetting process we kind of put in is we'll go and check out past references of the subcontractors. We have our in-house due diligence on every sub-trade that wants to work with us, which will go validate the license, insurance,
Mhm.
workman's comp, all the paperwork. Another step is I will personally myself go see some of the projects they've worked on to look at their quality and their finished product to make sure it fits within our standards.
Okay.
By doing this, we've eliminated quite a few in the beginning, but now it's good. We have a great team of subcontractors who work with some of the best in the area, which really helps us deliver a quality product.
So when I listen to you go through that, you're really focused on your side of that equation. You're vetting them, you're interviewing them. I mean, I'm curious about Florida. I live near Nashville. We've also had a boom the last number of years, and I hear some similar complaints with builders finding good subs. But it seems to me like a lot of the subs are not as accessible. Like maybe they can't get to the work that they have. Um, so I'm curious about how you found ones that met the quality and also had um, the ability to get in there and engage with you and interest.
So we've had quite a few approach us in the sense, we have the Luxury Builders Group name out there, which shows that our name and reputation is spreading relatively fast.
Mhm.
So a lot have reached out to us, but when I first moved down here is I started scoping that out right away. I started looking who's working on projects. I started asking around. I asked for referrals and I put together a short list of every different trade. And based off of that, we started doing our due diligence.
Gotcha.
I mean, the first one or two projects we did, it was, I would say, a lesson learned. We still delivered something great, but it was challenging to get to know our process. And still to this day, a lot of the subcontractors are not used to, which the ones we have built reputation with, they're used to our process now. So there's contracts done for every project, all the due diligence, paperwork. If we don't have that, they're not stepping foot on our job sites.
Gotcha. So you handle, I'm assuming you handle all of the scheduling with the trades through your software platform. Is that accurate?
Yes, so in-house, it allows us to have a schedule to put one together for the project,
Mm.
and which also the clients have access to the schedule inside their portal. So we put it together. Um, that was also a bit of a challenge in the beginning. As you know, as I was used to up north, I could deliver houses a little faster than it is down here. You know, a lot of people they're working here in the high heat, so it's a bit slower.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. What about change management? Do you do change orders in the software as well?
We do, yes.
Okay. And what about you also mentioned that you have all of your standard operating procedures documented. Do you have those in the business that are, I think a lot of businesses have them documented and then but some have a hard time making sure they're utilized on a regular basis. Where do you feel like you are on that continuum?
So we've implemented since day one, we started putting SOPs together for every role and position inside the business. Um, I've gone through, I would say, my fair share of employees to find the right ones that first and foremost make a great fit.
Hmm.
Implementing it is obviously, a question of them getting used to our procedures, and having it is always something that they can kind of rely on if there's something they're not sure. we've had a little bit of challenges, I would say in the beginning to get them to use to relying on this SOP, but it's not there for nothing.
Right. And it's a document, they just get it out and they go to the index and find what they need. Is that how it works?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. And what about, I mean, I know you're only 3 years in, but let's say you wanted to double your business, the next couple of years. And maybe you do. I don't know what your goal is exactly. What's in your way? Like what's your biggest obstacle?
I would say my biggest obstacle to this day is finding the quality labor.
Hmm. And do you do that today in sort of a guerrilla approach? I mean, I heard you say, you find the people, you go to the job site, you look at the work. Is it word of mouth and asking around and like what's your process for this? I know you have a vetting process.
Yes, so I will start, and I'm talking about in-house staff. So we're talking
Okay.
about project managers, superintendents, office managers, every position. Um, well, I start with the first Zoom interview with them. I have a series of questions. I start there. And then obviously, then we have, if they move on to the second step, which is an in-person interview, if we see that it could be a potential fit with us, then we try them out. And then based off of that, we're able to make an assessment relatively quick.
So you put them through like a trial period.
Yes, you have to.
And what's the take rate? Like how many go through the interview process, get into the trial period, and then don't work out? I
Great
can already
question.
tell the number's higher than I would have thought.
Yes, it hasn't been easy. I'll be honest. I would say that's probably one of my biggest hurdles at the moment.
It's just labor.
Yes.
How big's your team now?
So now we have an office manager, I have a controller, there's myself, a superintendent, and a project manager.
Gotcha.
And we're kind of also selecting our projects as well, not to burden ourselves too much.
Are you pretty selective about what you take?
We are, yes.
And what kind of things have you found yourself walking away from?
Um, if I see the client is not a good fit with us right from the beginning, is my biggest red flag.
And how do you define not a fit? Is it
Well, our market is a little more, how can I say this? Everybody's unique, and we try and build houses as unique as them.
okay?
So, in a sense that if I see the client is going to be an issue or they're trying, there's certain procedures and steps we must take for a project to be efficient. And if I see it's going to be a problem down the road, then we try and avoid those headaches.
I think you'll get a kick out of this. I had a discussion with a builder recently that said that they won't take attorneys. It's so they won't work with attorneys. They just I got a kick out of that. That's one way to do it, I guess. So, what are you seeing competitively? I mean, are people asking you what you're doing? Are your competitors picking up on the fact that you're doing things a little bit differently?
Um, Gotten a little bit, but not much really.
Everyone
Um,
heads down.
I think a lot of them are so busy doing their own thing.
Yeah. So what do you think is next for the business and then technology in general? Are there specific things that you want to solve going forward? Like, what's your biggest headache at the moment aside from labor?
It really comes down to the labor. So we're constantly putting it out there, interviewing, preparing so that we can keep pushing the business to the next level where it has to grow.
And what is your mechanism to attract new clients?
To attract, so we've done very minimal marketing.
Okay.
Um, my main concern from the beginning was getting the procedures in place, getting everything running like a well-oiled machine. And now we're at that crossroads where we're able to expand a little more. Now that everybody knows what needs to get done, everybody's got their procedures, we're able to take on a little more. And we're going to start focusing on, we're going to have to work on marketing as it's not, I'm a builder, not a marketing genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that we're starting to kind of slowly integrate in.
I mean, is it fair to say up until this point, marketing hasn't really been like you've been more focused on executing the work um, than marketing? I mean, if you had had three times the number of clients, could you have serviced them, or have you intentionally sort of left marketing as a secondary thing to go after?
We, I would say we kind of intentionally left it a little behind. Um, just as I like to be, it's almost the same thing as a project. It's a lot more preparation than it is execution.
Yeah. What about onboarding? I mean, you have staff, you get them up to speed. How long does it take you in your mind? And I know it's not linear, but in your mind, how long does it take to have, your t a team member up and running suitably?
Well, obviously it depends on what stage we're at on our projects. It can take anywhere from a month to a month and a half to 3 months, depending on how many projects we got going on at once.
Gotcha.
Catch them up to speed. It's much easier when they start out on a new project from the beginning that we're able to follow it through.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. What about delays? Delays and uh, budget changes. Do you notice any patterns with delays there in Florida that you can sort of predict?
So that was one of our challenges in the beginning, was the delays, the time to build that relationship with our subs,
Hmm.
try and respect our schedules. Obviously, there's a lot of inspections that get done down here as well, but
Yeah.
we have a fairly good success rate on them. I would say, you know, the fluctuation of material pricing has been a little bit of a up and down loop, but we have some cost escalation clauses in place, and some projects we do as cost plus as well.
The cost escalation, that would be for things that you've scoped as a flat fee, like a,
Well, a cost, yes. So if we have a fixed price on something, and obviously if you're doing a new ground up build, then the project can take a year. Sometimes the prices will change within that 1 year. So we kind of put in little measures to kind of protect us in a way that, if something costs more than X percentage within that year, then obviously we got to charge the difference.
right.
Is since 2000, I would say since COVID, um, prices just went crazy, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, honestly, that's what's paused a project that I have is just the costs seem to sort of run amok.
Yes, even us, we had projects that I was doing back then, and the price was just going up. Our cost was going up. So it's a lesson learned, and we turned around and that you got to notice when these problems pop up and take care of it.
Have you had to execute that clause? I mean, have you had to utilize it?
I have, yes.
And the clients have been understanding?
Yes, I mean, and then we're straight up with them. So look, this was our cost. This is where it's at now.
Right.
Even like the doors and windows have jumped up another 6, 7% 3 months ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Even still, huh?
Hmm.
Interesting. What about driving business from your current clients? Do you have a standard process to drive referrals and so forth?
Well, I would say one of the biggest compliments we actually get is referrals from past and existing clients. Um, that goes to show us that we're doing something right.
Sure.
And that's part of our marketing thing that we're going to work on next.
I gotcha. So if you had back to the tech side of things, if you had a developer on your staff for a month, what would you have them work on?
If I had a tech savvy person, I think ultimately would be to start working the social media, the marketing side. Um, I would also say even the client relationship side. There's always improvement that can be done on that.
Yeah.
And the ultimate goal, I think, one day would be to create our own software to really tailor it to our exact needs.
How do you think yours would different than what the masses would need?
Well, obviously, commercial, residential is different type of way of building. Um, so it would be to try and extrapolate all the best parts of one, best parts of another, put our ideas and create something that's much more tailored, a little more personalized in a way
Okay.
that could be somewhat user friendly for the client as well.
Okay, that's interesting. What else should people know about your business and, you know, um, in terms of how you differentiate and go to market versus anyone else? Like if you had what would your elevator pitch that we would leave the audience with, what would it be?
Elevator pitch. It's a great question. You know, I think the worst thing you can do is hide delays or hide costs from a client. Um, we pride ourselves on being transparent,
Mhm.
being upfront. Sometimes you have to have those hard conversations, but you have to have them. I try and spend a lot of time up front explaining the timelines, the permitting, and any possible hurdles that we might get to kind of manage that expectation.
Well, and I think it takes a certain amount of confidence to do that, and it pays. I think it to your point, when you have the difficult conversations, it pays. In a former life, I had a scenario a long time ago whereby I told an account that they should wait because I knew that some newer technology was going to be released soon.
Yes.
I told them they should wait or at least just be aware that I
Hmm.
didn't want them to be surprised. And, you know, that came back to me years later from that person, like they recalled that. And so I think you're onto something there.
Yes. And what differentiates a good builder from a great builder is that a good builder deliver a home. A great builder can deliver an experience that the clients want to work with us again.
That's well said. I mean, I feel like if you check all the boxes and you satisfy someone, then you don't really make any headway. But if you delight them,
Mhm.
that's a whole different situation. I had a builder just last week tell me that he was friends with everyone that he'd ever built for. And I thought that was a pretty powerful statement too.
Yes.
You know, what do you see happening in the building industry? Do you see big changes there, or do you see a lot of folks in your industry trying to continue to do things the way that they've always done them?
Well, what I'm noticing a lot more is the more we build, the more and more people are turning towards smart homes, these extra features. We're starting to also get a little more into the green building as well. We're noticing that trend come up.
Clients are asking for it.
Yes,
Okay.
they want all the smart features, all the latest tech, which is great because even I get to learn some as we go along.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, what else? Anything else we should hit on today?
Um, I mean, for the moment, I think we've covered a lot. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
I mean, look, I love your story, going to a different place, recognizing that, there's an opportunity and then being willing to act on it. I mean, that's a pretty unique story. You've been building for a long time. Anything you'd like to say, like as an entrepreneur and someone interested in moving down an entrepreneurial path, maybe from corporate America or maybe just initially, um, what would you tell those folks in terms of your lessons learned or anything that sort of stands out? And then same for the construction business. If someone were moving down that path, what would be if you had a nephew or niece going into this this space, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them? I mean, I think sometimes to choose the harder path now will reward you later on down the road. It's not an easy one. It's never is easy. But if life were easy, everybody'd be doing it.
Yeah, the easy way is definitely not the usually the most productive. Well, hey, thank you for your time with us and your insights. Again, I think your story is really fascinating. Um, how do people get in touch with you if they want to reach out?
Well, they can check out our website, www.luxbuildersgroup.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, or call our office direct. There's always somebody here Monday to Friday to answer the phone, 561-660-8965.
Gotcha. Again, Patrick, thank you for being here, everyone. It's Luxury Builders, and you got the information there. And we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.